You are listening to the Wyn Thomas File.
And time for another guest on the Wyn Thomas File. That is Helen&Thomas Docherty. Nice to have your company. Thanks so much indeed. Thanks for being with me.
Oh, thanks so much for having us on to talk about Dillon's Park. We're really excited.
First of all, can I congratulate you on those amazing illustrations in the book? Who's responsible for them? Is it just you, Thomas?
That's right. I'm responsible for the illustrations, and thank you. Yes, it was such a pleasure to illustrate the town where we actually live and the park where our kids played when they were little. So, yeah, that was very, very special.
They're fantastic colours. Absolutely so bright and imaginative, and they marvellous stuff.
Oh, well, I just wanted to bring the best out of Swansea. And, you know, Cwmdonkin Park is a very special place. And the house where Dylan Thomas grew up, which is just outside the park, has amazing views over Swansea Bay. So I was like trying to bring that Dylan's world to life, Dylan's childhood world to life. Yes, indeed, yeah. So those who don't know, Cwmdonkin Park is by 5 Cwmdonkin Drive, where Dylan Thomas was born.
That's right.
Brought up. How far is that from the park?
Oh, it's about 40 or 50 metres. It really is just across the road. And
right.
Yeah, it's so close. He would have been able to hear. I mean, the story, he talks about listening to the children playing in the park, the older children playing when he's in bed.
That's
so
right.
He really could see and hear the life in the park going on from his house.
Yeah, it says, on summer evenings, I could listen in my bed to the voices of older children playing ball on the sloping, paper-littered bank.
Well, I was going to ask you to do a reading, but you've done it, so that's just fine.
Oh, there's plenty more. I mean, that's the real joy of the book, is that all the words belong to Dylan Thomas.
Yeah, I was going to say, so all that is a Dylan Thomas words, aren't they?
All Dylan Thomas's words. All I did was take a selection of lines from Reminiscences of Childhood, which was originally a radio broadcast, of course, in 1953. Mm-hmm. And then also, towards the end of the book, there's an excerpt from Return Journey, where he goes back to the park as an adult and chats with the park keeper, who remembers him playing there as a boy. And then there's a sort of coda at the end of the book, which is a line I took from Dylan Thomas's poem, Should Lanterns Shine, which comes from his second collection of poetry, 25 poems. So it ends with the line, the ball I threw while playing in the park has not yet reached the ground.
Yes, indeed, yeah. And you got that bit at the end of the book as well, in that children's quiz thing. And again, there's no answer to that really, is there? So that's just maybe a mystery.
I mean, that's the wonderful thing. It's what is it you want it to mean? And so we have these talking points at the end of the book to encourage families and children with their teachers in the classroom to talk about all the rich content of the book and their responses to it and what it evokes for them and the feelings it evokes for them and how they respond to that. And I think that's very much part of it. And I mean, for me, it's like this sense that his childhood is forever suspended somehow. He's still playing in Cwmdonkin Park even today. And as an adult, of course, we look back with great nostalgia on our childhood games, don't we, in our visits to the park? But a child perhaps would bring something different to that, would see it from a different angle.
Yes, indeed, yeah. So Dylan's adventures in the park, some imaginary, some real, yes? Would you put it that way?
I think so. So it's a mixture of the imaginary games that Dylan and his friends played. So they imagined that they were pirates or visiting a robber's den or highwaymen. And Tom, of course, has elaborated on all of this. So he's taken the words and you've created new landscapes, haven't you, within the park and populated it with animals and scenes from far away, which is suggested by Dylan Thomas's words.
And that was a real treat for me as an illustrator of children's picture books. They're often quite fantastical, and to be able to add that element of fantasy, the sort of realm of child's imagination. Children imagine things so effortlessly, and they put themselves into these adventurous or curious situations with their friends. And I think one of the nice things about imaginative play is it's the same as it always has been. It was the same in Dylan's day, and it's the same for children today as well.
Yes, absolutely. But I think what's really fun is that you can spot, and we've seen this when we've shared the book with children, you can spot things in Thomas's illustrations. So kids love spotting the bear and the tiger and the dragon lurking in the undergrowth of Cwmdonkin Park. Of course, they weren't really there. They were just there in Dylan's imagination. But I think what you've done is to blend that with real scenes from the park in a way that sort of, you start with the reality and then it blurs seamlessly into this sort of fantastical realm. And I think that's what the illustrations have conveyed so well. Yeah. But also, when you mentioned real life adventures, and Dylan Thomas also refers to the daring feats of endurance that he and his friends undertook. And that's where they get up to a lot of fun and mischief, climbing the trees and hurling insults at grown-up passers-by, especially postmen, running down the terrace and knocking on all the doors and ringing all the bells and getting chased by a man with dogs, swimming in the reservoir, which was forbidden and had angry swans. So, and then Dylan Thomas himself chooses this feat of endurance, lifting up this old, broken, heavy pram above his head for half an hour, although he acknowledges it might not have been half an hour, it might have been shorter or longer. And those are just really fun things that I think kids can relate to and perhaps feel a little envious of, because Dylan Thomas and his children were allowed a measure of freedom that many children today don't enjoy to quite the same extent.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need sort of things all built for you. It can be just a park, it can be a mountainside, and it can become something else. Yeah, absolutely. The one you didn't mention there was also the home to secret societies as well, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah, so they have these secret societies where they have to swear allegiance and swear an oath.
Well, I love the humour in that. Dylan's understated humour where he says, and sign your name in blood or redding. It's that sort of the nice sort of juxtaposition between the reality and, what they're sort of imagining.
The story they're telling themselves, So they're pretending to sign their names in blood, but actually they're just using red ink.
That's good. That's the good side of things in those days. Yes, indeed. Yeah. These days it might be real blood. You never know. But you say Dylan visited the park as well many times, and at the end of the book there's these talking points, which is a fantastic bit as well. So it's fantastic. It really is.
Thank you. Well, we hope it will be taken up by children not just in Swansea, but all over Wales and beyond. Because I think there's something really universal about the book as well. Because even though it's set in a very specific place in Cwmdonkin Park in Uplands in Swansea, the experience of outdoor play, children's friendship, and the imaginary games that come from that, from their play, their outdoor play, and that freedom that they have to explore an outdoor kingdom, if you like, that they make theirs. I think that's a very universal experience.
I think it's also a fantastic way to introduce Dylan Thomas and his amazing poetry and writing to a whole new generation of children. Right. And for me, as an illustrator, we often think of Dylan Thomas, he's sort of labelled the first rock star poet, author of his generation, and he's known obviously for his drinking and his travels, but to imagine him as a boy and the things he did when he was young in the park with his friends, it was lovely to imagine that different side of Dylan Thomas that maybe people don't talk about quite so much, and where his poetry and his ideas came from.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Thomas, I know that when somebody goes into a bookshop and picks that off the shelf, it's going to go, wow, straight away. It's the wow factor of the opening cover. They'll open the cover and then you get that big panoramic view inside, and it'll absolutely knock you out and think, yes, I must buy this for my children. Yeah.
Well, I did work very hard. I looked up, I found old postcards of Cwmdonkin Park from the 1920s and early 30s. And although because of the constraints of the size of the page and where the text goes, I had to move things around a little bit. I hope that it will be, sufficiently accurate for people who know the park and know Swansea to recognise these places as pretty much how they are today.
That's right. And also the view of Swansea Bay. Yes,
the Swansea Bay view. It's
looking out towards Mumbles. I think
that is artistic license, isn't it, Thomas?
But it's an iconic view as well.
It is an iconic view. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Thanks so much for being my guest today. It's been an absolute delight to have you on the programme.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And I should just add before we finish that it was actually my dad, Gareth Thomas, who...
Oh, yes, please tell me that, yes. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So my dad grew up in Port Talbot, just across the bay, and he was a great fan of Dylan Thomas from an early age, and he also used to obviously visit Swansea as a boy himself. And then when we moved here in 2012... and our children we started taking our own kids, who were very young at the time, to Cwmdonkin Park. My dad would sometimes visit. And I think that's kind of what sparked the idea for him of creating this book. So it's entirely new. It's Dylan Thomas's words, but the book itself is new.
Well, maybe your next project, Thomas, and you, Helen, is going to be In the Milkwood. That would be a fantastic project, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Dylan's work, it is so rich and full of beautiful sort of pictures.
Absolutely. Yes, it almost, the words describe the images. They create the images in your own mind, don't they? So I think it was a gift to illustrate for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, come back to me if you're going to do that. I'd love to speak to you again about it.
We will let you know.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for having us on, Wyn.
Just the availability of that book then. It's $12.99 to buy. Where can you get it from? Is it all booksellers locally?
Absolutely. No. You can buy it online, or you can buy it in any good bookseller.
Right.
And there will be... Graphic, the publishers, will be releasing a Welsh language version, which is very important to say.
Nice to know. Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
So that's good to know.
Yes, that will be coming out soon. So, and we're really delighted that there's going to be a Welsh language version as well, so that people can enjoy reading the story in Welsh and enriching their own Welsh vocabulary as well.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Well, that's Helen&Thomas Docherty. That's the book. Thank you.
Dylan's Park. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.